Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to the next and possibly last installment of this Firebase Hooks authentication tutorial. Last but not least, we just have to hook up the dashboard component, and I'm going to be using the context API to actually persist our user data throughout the app. So I'm doing this for a number of different reasons, but mainly just because Firebase is kind of finicky in how they actually store the user and for how long they do store the user and the user credentials. So using context, it kind of gives us our own way to store the details of the user without having to have them relog in each time. Okay, cool. So I hope that was a decent overview of what we're going to be doing. I know it kind of probably wasn't, but so first things first, we're going to be creating a new file, and that's called auth.js, and that is going to be within our src folder of our app. So create auth.js, and within auth, let's import all of the things that we need, which is going to be React, use state, and finally this new one, use effect. These are all going to be from React. And last but not least, import app from Firebase. Okay, so if you guys are unfamiliar with context, you should probably watch a little bit of a refresher just so you can get yourself up to date. But it's really actually something really easy and provides a really insightful and I don't want to say easy way to state storage in React, but it's definitely one of the easier ones. So first things first, let's export a constant variable of auth context. And that auth context is just going to be this react.createContext method. Again, it'll all kind of make more sense as we get going, so let's just keep going. And then next we're going to export another constant variable called auth provider, and that is going to take in the children of the React context, and then from there we can create our function. Okay, all right, so within this provider we're going to need to set a user and create a user, and just store a user, I should say. So to do that, we're going to use another use state variable that we used before, and we call that current user and set current user. That's going to be equal to use state of a string, or I guess I'll set this to null for right now, and then we'll set it to a string eventually. Next up, we're going to use a use effect. Again, this is kind of a fundamental piece of React hooks. So create our anonymous function, and within our use effect, we're just going to call app.authChange, which is that helper function that we created in our Firebase class. And then from authChange, we're just going to set current user. Now we want this use effect to run only once, so we're just going to set it as that. And then finally, we're going to return our auth context dot provider, and then we're going to give that an attribute of value current user. So I'm not sure what happened to my parentheses. Oh, my bad. I have it outside of the function. That makes sense. Okay, so within here, we're just going to pass in the children that got inherited in. That's going to be our context provider that we're going to be using for the entire application. Okay, I know this was kind of a lot, but this is not really what I wanted this tutorial to be about. I wanted it more to be about the Firebase hooks. So if you guys need more practice with context and context provider and consumers, I advise you to go check out some videos that I'll have in the description below. But next up, we're actually going to be doing something with this empty dashboard component that we have had and been redirecting to. And this will actually put the final touches on this app. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. We're going to be importing React, use state, and use context, all from React. Also going to be importing container. And last but not least, we're going to be importing auth context from that auth function that we just created. Okay, let's create our component. And then let's grab that current user from the use context. Then for the use context, we want to pass in auth context, which is what we imported above. So here we're just going to do some simple logic and check to see if current user is null. And if it does not equal null, we want to return container current user.email. So we just want to basically return the user or the email of the current user. And then if the current user is null, we just want to return a nice little message to make sure they know they're welcome. This is something that a private route would be perfect for. It's just that doing this, I got a little carried away and whatnot. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and check what's going on with our dashboard. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I figured out what the issue is. I should have just stuck to reading my notes because I completely forgot a pretty key part. So if we go back to our app.js, remember as I kind of stumbled over my words, I was like, we don't need to install that right now, or import that right now. That was the actual auth provider function. So within our app.js, we are going to import auth provider. We're going to import that from auth. And finally, within our return, we are just going to wrap all of this in an auth provider tag. And there we are. Everything is working. Just goes to show you guys gotta slow down, pay attention. Don't make stupid mistakes like I just made. Completely forgot about that. I was sitting here trying to figure it out, and then it came to me, and I have it literally written down right there in my notes. So as you guys can see, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I know I certainly did. there's going to be more tutorials like this coming from Coding with Alex, so make sure you guys are subscribed, hitting the notification bell so you guys are always notified whenever I do put out new videos. And yeah, leave a comment below with what you guys enjoyed from this tutorial, what you guys would like to see in the future. And yeah, I think that is going to bring an end to the Firebase Hooks tutorial by Coding with Alex. I am your host, Alex. Thank you.